Aloha, YouTube investors. How is everybody doing today? My name is David Yansen. Welcome to my channel. Today is January 14th. It is Thursday, 2021, and we are looking at BlackRock. They announced earnings today, so we are going to do a quick summary stock analysis of the finance company BlackRock. Ticker symbol is BLK. So Seeking Alpha still hasn't updated for the close. Last it is reporting here 3:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here in Hawaii it is 11:07 a.m. But the stock pretty much finished up a little bit down at still trading over $740, but still down, probably still in this 4%, 4.5% being down for the day. So a real quick look, not just at the stock price, but to see how it has performed over a year. Up 49% over 5 years, up over 155%, almost 156%. So 5 years ago, if you had bought this stock when it was trading way down here in the 300s, you would have a gain of 155%. But year to date, to be a little bit more recent, the stock is over 8%. So this company, if you're not familiar with them, they are in the finance sector. They do the famous iShares ETFs and mutual funds. So I own one of their iShare ETFs. Ticker symbol is IVV. It tracks the S&P 500. I have them in my Roth IRA with M1 Finance, and I will put these cards popping up here around the 2-minute mark for you if you want to check out how my portfolios performed for 2020. Yeah, just 2020, not 2021 yet. So even though the days seem to be going faster. And then also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and there's a thumbs up like button if you hit that. I really appreciate that. That helps support the channel as well too. So, and thank you everybody who has already subscribed. I think I'm over 3,000 subscribers now. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'd like to keep growing. So share with your family and friends and ask them to subscribe and like my videos as well. So BlackRock in the finance sector here, and if we scroll down to the company profile here on Seeking Alpha, basically it just tells you individual investors, including corporate, public, union, industry, pension plans. This includes insurance companies. And so they just do pretty much a lot with when it has to do with investing. And they have places overseas. So it's not just the US, not just North America, but also the United Kingdom, Australia, Taiwan, Brazil, and Hong Kong. So if I didn't mention Hong Kong there. India, forgot to mention India. Don't want to leave out India. That's where Tesla's next growth is. So anyway, looking at the dividend for BlackRock, the finance company, it's a really strong dividend. The payout ratio is only 44%, which is really, really good. Usually you want to see under 60% payout ratio from individual companies. Annual payout, $14.52. The dividend yield is only 1.86%, but that's still really good. That beats the S&P 500. So also your your quarterly dividend payout is going to be $3.63. And the last payout date was on my birthday, December 21st of 2020. I'm now 45 years old, so I'm almost at the peak of the hill. Or I guess I am at the peak of the hill, starting my way down. So as far as dividend growth is concerned, really nice number, over 10.5%. And then 11 years of dividend growth. So if we look here on Seeking Alpha, it says 1-year growth rate is 10%. The 10-year growth rate has been over 13% at 13.76%. So a really good company to invest in if you have the money, even if you just pick up fractional shares. I personally am not invested in this company directly, just via the S&P 500 tracker ETF that they own. Originally, when I first started investing back in, I think it was May or June. June is when I think I signed it. Yeah, June is when I signed up for Robinhood. When I first signed up for Robinhood, I saw them in there and I was like, oh, I can't afford that. Robinhood wasn't doing fractional shares at the time. And I'm pretty sure this was not listed under the Stash app. I was using Stash in April of 2019 is when I started investing. So they were fractional shares with the Stash app, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have BlackRock as one that you can invest in. At the time, Stash only had certain companies. They didn't have every single company listed. So when I moved to M1 Finance, which now I just have my Roth IRA with M1 Finance, I then just didn't even think about BlackRock. I was trying to build up my Roth IRA with M1 Finance. Now it's kind of appealing to me, mainly because of the dividend, not the dividend yield, but they are paying a really, really nice dividend every single quarter. And their numbers are amazing. Look at this. This is quarter 4 for 2020, reporting January 14th. That's today. Revenue up 13%, over $4.4 billion. Net income up 19%. GAAP earnings per share up 21%, and non-GAAP is up 22%. And if you see here, it also says on this website, Alpha Streets, where I get a lot of my stock analysis information from. I like this graph that they put together. It keeps it kind of, so you're not just looking at line after line, number after number. It's kind of broken up here for you. But it says that the stock has gained 50% since the beginning of the year. So that's really, really good. So in a time when the U.S. economy isn't doing very well and unemployment is really, really high, and people's 401ks and retirement packages with their jobs, their pension plans and stuff like that, all those types of things BlackRock manages. So you might, if you have a 401k or a 403b or something like that with a company, BlackRock might be managing, depending on, what company you're with. So some people have lost money in their retirement when the stock market dropped in March. And when your company loses money in your retirement and they lay you off, or maybe they just put you on furlough or something like that, there's no contribution going in. So there's no growth to buy the dips then. So personally, I don't have a 401k. I don't have a job like that. So I just invest individually. So that's why I kind of encourage people to invest individually on their own. So you have your 401k, then open up a Roth IRA on the side as well too. So when these drops do happen, these recessions do come up, which on average is about every 8 or 10 years or so. I think it's about 8 years the U.S. Has a recession. You can make whatever adjustments that you need to. And I made adjustments from my 2 individual accounts and my Roth IRA when the stock market crashed back in March. And another crash could come up in 2021 or 2030. You don't know when these things are going to pop up. So nice to have your own little portfolio to manage when these things happen. So back to BlackRock here. Long-term net inflows and outflows. For the quarter 2020, $160 billion. That includes the retail, iShares, and institutional. You can see the numbers there. And then the long-term net flows trends. These numbers are all in the billions. I'm not quite sure how they lost $18 billion. Hope that's not $18 billion there in the first quarter of 2020, but it all pretty much, they got it all back for the most part. And then you can see all the different areas here where they have the Americas. This is Europe, Middle East, Asia, and this is Asia, Pacific, America countries, 25 billion, 53 billion, and 38 billion. And then this number I think is ridiculous. This is just crazy to think about in trillions. The only time I really hear trillions is when you talk about stimulus packages that are going out nowadays, but their long-term assets under management, good grief, cannot talk all of a sudden. Their assets under management grew 17%, $8.6 trillion. And that was pretty much led, if you look here, by the iShares. So a lot of people were buying their ETFs and mutual funds, as that brought in $79 billion in the quarter 4. So it wasn't so much the institutional, which right there you can see is at $2 billion, and the retail is at $35 billion. Scroll down here a little bit more. Operating income was up 20%, just under $2 billion at $1.85 billion. Total expenses up at 8%. And then cash flow is something that I like to look at and I like to see. So $9 billion in cash flow there, and total base fees $3.39 billion. So this is a really good company to invest in. Like I said, if you have the money to put into it. Some other notable things that I got off of their website here. This is actually their report, their quarterly annual report. You can see full year 2020 diluted EPS $31.85, or adjusted at $33.82. And these other numbers I mentioned just a little bit ago here. So 391 billion of full year total net inflows. This reflects a 5% organic asset growth and 7% organic base fee growth. Organic growth is always better than like buying your shares back and then your stock price goes up, or your sales go up because you do some type of special promo or something like that. 127 billion of quarterly total net inflows, 11% increase in full year revenue. And then I believe their 2021, did I miss it somewhere here? I think I missed what their 2021, it must be all the way down here for 2021. Nope, there's no guidance in this. I thought there was guidance that I read somewhere here. It must be way down at the bottom somewhere. But they did return over almost $4 billion, $3.8 billion that they returned to shareholders in 2020. So these companies are amazing that they can pay $3 billion back to their shareholders. I think that is ridiculous to think that to manage a company like that would be insane. $8 trillion. I mean, the stress that these CEOs, CFOs must go under to make sure that these shareholders, that these funds are returning people money and that they're making money so that people want to continue to invest in their company. So my personal opinion, if you have the money, pick up half a share or a quarter of a share. You can do fractional shares with M1 Finance. There are links in the description there for you. Even Robinhood does fractional shares now. I will have another video for you on JP Morgan later this week, either tomorrow or Saturday, early Saturday. We'll see what happens on Friday. And I did just do a video for Delta Airlines as well too. So check that out. That card will pop up as well too. So see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Be safe and healthy. Mahalo and aloha.